My name is Marie van der Merwe, and I'm an associate professor at the University of Memphis in the College of Health Sciences, and I study nutrition sciences.
Okay, and where are we right now?
We are in the Al Marouane Field House at the University of Memphis, and this is a biochemistry and molecular biology lab where we do a lot of our nutrition science experiments.
Wow. So speaking of science, if you had to explain your research in one sentence to someone at a coffee shop, what would you say?
So my main obsession and also the focus of my laboratory is really to understand the connection between food and your physiology. And what I mean by food is not just the things on your plate, it is the components of food and also the behavior associated with food. And the goal with it is really to understand how to optimize health and reduce chronic diseases.
That's really cool. So you've looked at everything from probiotics to fasting. What's one wellness trend people are overhyping and one they're overlooking?
So I think a wellness trend, and this is true forever, is that people tend to focus on individual components. Like I take a supplement with one component inside, thinking that it would fix a problem. And not paying enough attention to the holistic body where there's many different things, and so you actually have to focus on many things, not just one component, and thinking that if I just fast and don't change my diet, it will, be that helpful, or just take one supplement, vitamin C, think it will fix all the problems, and not making sure that you're filling all the holes that might be lacking.
So looking holistically at your lifestyle is what's important when it comes to wellness.
Absolutely. Building habits. Habits is like the most important thing for health. It's the thing that you consistently do day after day after day, and really focusing on like a healthy lifestyle. And this includes, sleep and exercise, friends, and of course nutrition. And not getting obsessed with the one day that you kind of fall off the wagon. Just get right back up, and so it has to be sustainable. Your lifestyle, whatever you figure out, you have to make a sustainable lifestyle.
It's important. Speaking of friends, what are we doing over here?
So here are a couple of our research coordinators and graduate students, and they're currently working on isolating some plasma from some blood that we have collected from subjects in the clinical trial.
So speaking of subjects, your work often ties back to the gut microbiome. What's one thing about it that still surprises you?
The thing that was really shocking to me is how, and this is not from our work, this is from work from many other people, is how modifiable it is. How much the food that you eat can actually alter your microbiome. And it really is like a little pharmacy. If you feed it the right things, it creates all these biomolecules that gets absorbed and then integrated in your physiology.
Is that kind of some of the inspiration behind the Healthy Eating Institute?
Absolutely. I mean, the whole idea of the Healthy Eating Institute is to use the information that we actually gather in the lab and then take it out into the community and help to educate not just the knowledge, but also the skills for you to be able to, have that sustainable lifestyle.
So we know you're really passionate about the community. Out of all the things you've studied, time-restricted eating, supplements, probiotics, which has the most untapped potential for improving women's health?
I don't think one of them is more important than the other. I actually think all of them has a place. And this gets back to this whole idea of a holistic, seeing the body as a holistic, organism, where timing of eating is really important. Supplements can be important if you're lacking in a specific nutrient. Probiotics, especially in the form of food, where you are consistently getting it day after day, is really important. So gut health, supplements, to make sure that you're not missing out on any micronutrients, and timing of eating. All of these they're mutually exclusive. All of them are important. So it's really hard for me to pick one thing and say, oh, really do this, and it will be improving your lifestyle. I think all of them has to be kind of incorporated into a healthy lifestyle.
Okay, one more question, kind of a follow-up. What's one major question in female health research you wish more scientists were focused on?
So specifically to females, so my background is in biochemistry and immunology, and so I have, the power of the immune system is amazing, and it has, it actually cuts both ways, and it can be good and it can be quite evil. So I think studying the immune problems in females is actually not addressed enough. We know that autoimmune diseases, for example, probably the majority is in females. And that also over the lifespan of a female, as you get through pregnancy and as you go through menopause, all these things really affect your immune system, and it affects other systems that can put you at higher risk for other chronic diseases.
We have a lot of girls on the job today.
Absolutely, these are my science warriors.
So speaking of female workers, you led a study on stress and nutrition in female healthcare workers. What did that teach you about how women experience wellness on the job?
So like you said, the study focused on nurses, and so that in itself is already an incredible stressful job. And I think the thing that we've learned, not necessarily through the publications, but anecdotally, is the support systems that females have in their workspace is really important for their mental health and then overall health. So I think the support systems are really, really important.
Yeah. Looks like we have some scientific discovery going on over here.
Oh, absolutely. Jalissa is most likely isolating some cells from blood to look at what we're going to do is an immune response assay. So this is her happy place as well. So,
what's your favorite moment of discovery from your lab, the kind that kind of made you stop and go, whoa?
I think one of the things that really shocked me was, again, it's this idea of how modifiable the microbiome is. I mean, we did this preclinical study where we looked at different foods and different food behaviors like fasting, and looked at the changes in the microbiome. And again, many people have done research like this. But I think what that really instilled in me was the power that an individual has in their hands to actually modify this internal organ to have an improvement in their health. So it is such a powerful thing to understand. Like, I can't alter my heart or my kidneys very easily, but this organ that lives within my gut and is so important for my metabolism, I have the power in my hands to actually improve that.
It's really powerful. Quite literally. Powerful.
Right? Yep.
What's something you wish every young woman stepping into science or research knew from the start?
Well, talking from my own experience, I think all women should understand how valuable and limited time is, and that they should really, you have to protect it. You really have to be very protective of your time. Yeah, that's the word. Sorry, I was just like,
conserve your time. Yeah, protect your space, protect your energy.
Protect your time, because especially as a starting scientist, there's so many different projects, so many different people that you want to collaborate with, and these collaborations are awesome. I mean, they help you move forward, but you have to be very protective of your time and make sure that the ones that you put your time into are really the things that will move you forward.
Yeah. After all your work with nutrition and exercise, what's your personal go-to snack after a long day?
So, I'm not a big snacker, and I don't think snacking is really great, but so after a long day, when I get back home, I have now become quite enamored with kombucha. So kombucha is my thing when I get home in the afternoon. It's a long day to kind of sit down and just relax a little bit. The thing that I will say that I think is great for a snack is something like nuts that can make you feel full and kind of hold you over to the meal, because I really think meals are where it's the important thing. You have to spend the time and energy in the meal and make sure that you have a really healthy, balanced meal to improve all the other health outcomes.
It's important. In one sentence, what gives you hope for the future of women's health research? It's a tough one.
The fact that male and female physiology is different is now recognized and acknowledged is really important. This is the first step. I mean, research studies, we now have 6 as a variable in our studies, which indicate the importance scientists now put on the differences between males and females to understand how these different physiologies drive disease, how these different physiologies respond to drugs or treatments. So, the first step is to that recognition, and I think we're there. We're actually past there. NIH now requires you have males and females in your studies, and we all know that there's differences.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, I really appreciate you coming to the lab and seeing what all these amazing women are doing.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
What kind of cells are you all using?
Oh, these are all kinds of stuff. So we have cell lines, which are like transformed cells, which they'll just keep on growing. So they're usually typically from something like a cancer type thing. But they're cell lines, so we buy them and then we can use them. But we also use primary cells, which means you isolate them from a tissue.
That's cool.
So yeah, usually those
Are
don't.
y'all using like human cells or?
I mean, we
plant
use
cells?
like PBMC. So we typically do a lot of like what we call PBMCs. So it's cells that you isolate from blood.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can isolate your blood. So it's your we call white blood cells, right? Your B cells, T cells, macrophages, all these things. Mostly we want to use them immediately because the primary cells don't like to be frozen so much. But
All three? They're all.
Yeah.
I mean,
see how cool it is in the lab?
The lab is cool.